Here's some help videos for beginners on the composition task for Year 11 theme and variations. So we'll make a new file, and we need to make sure that we add some instruments, I for instruments, that would have been used in the classical period in the genre of chamber music, which is a small group of solo players. So a very common one would be the piano trio, which has a solo violin, a solo cello, and a piano. Now Sibelius is putting them in this order. I'm just going to move the piano down below. That's just how I personally prefer it. The first thing I need when I open a new score is to do text title, and the name of your assignment is Variations on, and then whatever theme you are using. The next thing you'll put in immediately is your name. Original theme is a French folk song, I believe, and then the actual piece is arranged by, and in my case I'm going to put Miss T Demo 2016, but you can write your own name at that point there. Okay, at this point you could probably open the file that I have put on the intranet, which I can't show you myself, or you could just type it in. But as I have said, this is a series of videos for beginners, and if you're a beginner you should probably work in C. So I'm just going to quickly type out Twinkle in the key of C. I also know that Twinkle is in 2/4, time signature 2/4, and now I can pop it where I want it to go. And as you can see, I've got an extra bar which I don't need, which I can just delete. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is put in the chords. So you've got to make sure that you know what key you're in. And if you're a little bit confused, maybe you should just write it on the score somewhere, or keep a note, or put it in your planner so you know what key you're in. So I'm starting and finishing on C, because Twinkle starts on Do, yeah? Not all themes do start on Do, but they usually finish on Do, because these are all major themes that I gave you. So be careful that your very first theme actually begins in the right key. It might not be exactly as it was on the page of themes. You might actually have to move it into C major. So if you're a bit confused, ask for help from one of the other girls that you know is more advanced with music theory, or from me. So the next thing we want to do is add in the chords. Now, on the sheet I gave you, you'll notice that it had things like this, yeah? Which, when I put them into Sibelius, turn red. That's because in class I said to you, I'm not putting the chords on for you, you need to do that job. So you have to figure out what chord 1 would be in your key. So in the key of C, chord 1 is the C chord. And the next bar is still the C chord. I don't need to really put it in again, but I will. But I believe this one was the F chord, and then the C chord. And then the G7, I believe it was. And then C, and then G, and then C. You want to make sure this is correct, because this first step of putting in the theme with the correct time signature, the correct key signature, and the correct chords is vital to the rest of your entire assignment. So the next thing I'd do now would be save my file with a sensible name. After that, what I suggest you do if you're in Year 11 particularly, is just select this and press R. You'll notice that gives me the whole thing again. Remember that at the end of each little section we need a double bar. So notations, bar line, double. Yeah? So in Year 11 you only need to do 30 seconds of work, which I suggest would be the theme and 3 variations. So let me just repeat that 2 more times. And I'm going to do a manual line break by highlighting this bar line and pressing enter. And I'm going to make sure to put my double bar in, and then if I shrink down the score a little bit, you'll see what I've ended up with. Yeah? I'm going to highlight that and press enter as well, so it's a bit more spread out, and I believe I need an extra double bar there. So this was classwork. Now I can do it very quickly, and I know it takes you longer, but this was classwork in about week 3 or so of the term. So at this point you've roughed it out quite well. Like, there's different ways to approach this, but at this stage of the term I think we might consider key relationships. So we have to start in the home key, and finish in the home key. We don't have much room to go visiting, so I'd suggest one modulation is enough for Year 11. Yeah? You can get a reasonably good mark, in my opinion, at least a B, if you just do 30 seconds of good work. So what I suggest is you might do C major again with various changes, and make this one your alternative. So, where could we go from C major? We could go to Downstairs to Grandma's, A minor, the relative minor, which is a good choice, just a very close relationship, and it makes it sound very smooth. Or, if you don't like minor keys, you could go next door to G major. Or next door to F major, but that would be less common. Yeah? So I really think if you're a beginner, it's next door to the G family or Downstairs to Grandma's. The first thing I'm going to do is just highlight this theme and move it into A minor. So the way I've taught you to do this is to go into Note Input, Transformations More, Transform Scale, and instead of C major, what I actually want is A harmonic minor. Where is it? There. Yeah? Let's see what happens. Unfortunately, the chords don't change. You need to change them. Yeah? You need to work out what chord 1 in A minor would be. I believe we know it's A minor. What would chord 5 in A minor be? Well, in the natural minor chart it would be E minor, but in the harmonic minor chart it would be the chord E. Chord 4 in A minor, A, B, C, D. Chord 4 is a minor. Chord 1 is A minor. Chord 5, 7 is E7. Chord 1 is A minor. Chord 5 is E. Chord 1 is A minor. So you have to do this for yourself. This is an essential step. Now we're sort of ready to do a few variations on the melody.